and the sort of the key examples that we thought of for the panels of today, so that you at least have an idea what we thought about when we put all of this together. And I think all the papers speak to that, but in different ways, and we'll hear about that soon. So the aims of the conference actually look at a number of features of using the rule of law and human rights in particular in the context of yesterday's and today's discussions. And what we thought when we put this together is that these ideas of rule of law and human rights don't work by themselves. They need to be mobilized by people. They might be, yesterday we talked about the people actually affected by all kinds of injustices and calling upon human rights to address that. Today it's also about the responsibility for using human rights by public and private actors. So that's one side of it. The other side is that once you start using human rights as a set of standards or norms, it quickly becomes institutionalized, which is good. You need institutions to support them. But there's also the side of the bureaucratization of that. It may become run-of-the-mill, something we need to check rather than really think about. So there's a tension there we thought was interesting to address. A second important point, and this has to do with the main aims of our project on integrating normative and functional approaches to rule of law and human rights, is that we look at the side effects of appealing to either rule of law or human rights, in this context human rights. What does it bring in terms of other goals and concerns? Is it beneficial? Does it have maybe negative side effects that we didn't think of in the beginning? And I think in the context of today that's important. The third point is that, and that's very relevant today, is that we think we need to look at different actors. We all know that it is not just about states, but it's also not just about international organizations. It's also about civic actors and business actors, and I think that's, for today, a highly relevant interaction. And I'd be curious to hear about your thoughts about the different actors and how they might interact in these matters. I think the main question that we have for today is how human rights play a role in addressing broader social, political, and economic goals or projects. And what we decided to do is to rerun our two examples that we thought would be key examples for one for the first panel, another for the second panel, but they interrelate as well. And I want to ask Kinnari to introduce the example we had in our mind for this panel.
So this is the One Belt, One Road project. It's already started.